Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach. And today I wanted to come on here and talk to you about the power of your words, okay? And this is something I'm super passionate about, okay? And I think it's so important if you want to find someone who you can be with and settle down with and have a really good relationship with, have a good solid relationship with. And it all comes down to your self-talk. Now, as someone who's, got a lot of videos on, this channel, and I get a lot of comments basically, and a lot of the time I see a lot of people that have bad self-talk about themselves, or I can just tell that they're not really happy with themselves. It could be the case that actually they've even said something mean about me. And by the way, if you ever do feel like you need to say something mean about me or get personal in any way, I will be blocking you or muting you. If it's a fair criticism, then I don't mind that. But if it's something that's really like attacking my personality or attacking the way that I look or something, I will mute you. But anyway, I get a lot of comments coming in, and some of these comments I can just tell they're from people who are deeply, deeply unhappy, which is fair enough because I talk a lot about, exes and things like that. So a lot of people that are coming to my videos are actually very heartbroken people. So the way that you talk to yourself, this is essentially what I want to go into, is really crucial and important. And it all starts with, creating a better self-perception of yourself and being able to have a better self-talk. It all starts with the concept that you have of yourself. Because if you truly believe that you're not worthwhile, if you truly believe that you have low self-esteem, if you truly believe that you're a piece of trash, essentially, then, you've got to change that perception of yourself first. Because if that's something that you truly believe about yourself, no amount of self-talk is actually going to help you. So I have a good question for you to ask yourself, okay? And this question will help you start to change that concept that you have of yourself, especially if you feel like you do have low self-esteem, okay? And that question is that really true? So whenever you're having one of these pity parties or you're just being really mean to yourself, then it's crucial that you ask yourself, when these thoughts bubble up, is this true? Is this actually true? Has other people said this about me? Or is this something that I have just started to say about myself? Because if you feel like you're unlovable, no doubt you've had in the past someone who you may not have been attracted to, and perhaps you didn't like them in that way, but you've probably had at least one person in your life who's been really attracted to you, even if you didn't feel attractive, even if you weren't attracted to them. So you've probably had situations in that life where people really want to hang out with you, be around you. It doesn't have to be a romantic, but you may have lots of friends or people that love to hang out with you, people that love to talk to you. So if you think that you're unlovable, you've got to really question that, because it's very unlikely that that is actually true. You need to ask yourself, is what I'm saying about myself actually true? And that can help, right? Because that can help you have a different perspective and be able to look at what you're saying with a different angle, okay? But the thing is that sometimes this can take a long time to condition out of your system, because if you've had a negative self-talk for a long time, and it started off perhaps when you were little because you got bullied and someone made you feel worthless. I've been there. That happened to me. I had someone in my life who was definitely like that towards me. They had all these horrible nicknames for me, like they called me Turd, right? Which really wasn't nice. And they started calling me that when I was really small, like really, really small. So I was probably about 3, right? So that was my first concept of myself, that I was a turd, that I was just crap, right? That was my first concept of myself. So when you get these things in your head about who you are for a long time, and that's how you believe about yourself, and that's what you believe about yourself for a long time, then unfortunately, it gets really wired in very, very strongly. So in order to change that, you have to go through like a mental diet of, trying to recondition your brain to think differently. And to think differently about yourself. So you need to come up with some sort of like consistent thing that you can do that can help you rewire your brain, rewire these concepts that you have about yourself, okay? So one of the things that you can do, like I've said, is to question these negative thoughts that you have about yourself. So why is it important? Why is it important that you do this? Well, if you don't love yourself, and most of the people that come to my channel are trying to search for love, or they've had a heartbreak and they're trying to get over an ex and perhaps try and find someone new, you got to love yourself first, right? And I know it is cliche, you know, like the old Whitney Houston song, the greatest love of all, but it's true. It really is true. If you have no love or no respect for yourself, you're not going to find it from no one else is going to love you and respect you, and you're not going to be loving to other people. Like, if you cannot love yourself, you can't love other people, because you have no love within you, right? You got to at least respect who you are, right? And take care of yourself. So a few things that you can do to do this, and I know it's really basic, but some of the things that you might need to do is just tidying up your bedroom, tidying up where you live, because if you're living like a slob, then it's more likely that you feel like a slob and you feel awful about yourself if you are doing that sort of thing, okay? And I don't believe the, geniuses are messy or whatever. I don't believe that. I think people who really love and care about them, perhaps there are some geniuses out there that are messy, but they might not have a very good self-esteem, okay? People that have high self-esteem tend to be very, very organized. I tend to have an organized workspace. They have an organized home. Everything's in the right place. I'm not saying that they put labels on everything and they go crazy, but it's tidy and it's clean, right? And you've got to do that for yourself as well. Make sure you take a shower, at least once a day. Take care of your body by exercising it. Get the basic things down first, please, right? Because that's going to make you feel better about yourself. Do something nice for yourself. I know it sounds super feminine, and I know a lot of men watch this, but, why don't you make yourself a bubble bath, and light a candle or something, give yourself some self-love, treat yourself nicely, go treat yourself to something, like go out and have a nice meal somewhere, or, buy yourself something that you've always wanted, but you've been denying it for yourself because you feel like you don't deserve it, okay? And when these bad thoughts about yourself bubble up, question them. Really question them. Say, is that true? Is that really true? Okay? And even if you're like, yeah, it's true. If you think that, let's say, this is a basic one that I used to ask myself, or tell myself a lot, and that is, girls don't like me because I'm ugly. That was one of my things that I would say to myself, right? And even when I said to myself, is that true? I'll go, yeah, that is true, right? So what you do then is that you write a list. You get a sheet of paper out, and you write a list of what else could this mean, right? So what else could it mean? Well, maybe the girls that I've just interacted with, just haven't been the right ones for me. And you know what? There was a girl last year that really liked me, but unfortunately I just didn't like her, right? And then you make a list of reasons as to why you're not ugly, or whatever it may be that you're saying to yourself, okay? So that's how you start rewiring it. That's how you start rethinking it. So someone that really helped me, and he's the greatest teacher in my personal life, especially when it comes to my spirituality and when it came to changing negative thoughts to positive thoughts, because believe me, I was a negative Nelly up until the age of about 23 or 24, right? And it wasn't until I found this person who's called Dr. Wayne Dyer that I actually started to have a more positive outlook, a more spiritual outlook on life, and was started to become more loving to myself and more loving to other people. Right, it really put me on the path. So I highly recommend that you go and watch some of his the specials that he did, some of his lectures. Dr. Wayne Dyer, and Dyer is spelled D-Y-E-R, and Wayne is W-A-Y-N-E. Okay, so go and watch Dr. Wayne Dyer, and hopefully he'll have the same impact on you as he did on me, because he really made me able to look at how I was speaking to myself and how I could change that, and how I could switch it in my own head and turn it into a positive, okay? Because your words and what you say to yourself are so important. Each time you say, I'm ugly, I am unworthy, I always mess up my relationships, the more you ingrain it into yourself, okay? So the more then you start rewiring your brain in a different way and you start countering those negative thoughts with positive thoughts, the better you'll start to feel. And one of the ways that you can amazingly start to feel better about yourself is if you start creating goals for yourself and working towards those goals. I talk about it all the time, right? And I go by that quote that I talk about all the time recently in my videos by Dale Carnegie. Inaction breeds doubt and fear, Action breeds confidence and courage. If you want to conquer fear, do not sit at home and think about it. Go out and get busy. This means create a goal. Start working towards it. Start doing something to get yourself to that point every single day, and you'll start to feel better about yourself. But make sure it's a goal that you're passionate about, that you find meaning in, right? Because then there's that Viktor Frankl quote, which is, when a man can't find a deep sense of meaning, they distract themselves with pleasure. And if you're always finding yourself that you're distracting yourself with pleasure, you're going to feel awful about yourself, because you're just masking everything and you're ignoring everything in your life because you're too busy watching Netflix, playing video games. Now, of course, there may be some people watching this that are perhaps esports players. So if gaming is something to do with your actual career and you're making money off of it, then obviously that's fine. But if it's not, if it's something that you're distracting yourself with, then you need to root it out, or at least use it as a reward for when you've actually done something productive and you've moved yourself towards a goal. The way you speak to yourself is crucial if you're trying to attract love. You've got to learn to respect yourself, to love yourself. And one of the ways you can do that is if you work towards goals that are important to you and you start taking care of yourself. That means you're taking care of your hygiene. It means you're taking care of your workspace or whatever space that you're in currently. Right? Start working towards that. And start having some more responsibility in your life. You know, perhaps you don't really have like a career goal or anything like that, but perhaps you start working extra hard when you're at work and you feel like you're being productive and you're doing good work for the company that you're already in, because you might not have a side business. But I can guarantee it, you probably need to exercise more, or if you already do exercise, then perhaps you could, do something to push yourself a little bit more further. So create a goal, right? If you're a runner, then how about sign up for a half marathon if that's something that you've never done before? Like, start having a goal that you can work towards, because that will give your life, you'll give your life purpose. And once you feel like you're working towards your dreams, you will start to feel better about yourself when you start working towards these goals. Okay, so really rethink your self-talk, because it's crucial if you are trying to attract love. You need to learn to respect yourself and love yourself. I'm not talking about an egotistical love. I'm talking about healthy respect for yourself. And the way that you can respect yourself is if you feel like you're making progress and you're not beating yourself up all the time because you're procrastinating. Because if you procrastinate, you're going to feel horrible about yourself. I know that. I've been there. I procrastinate. I still procrastinate quite a lot sometimes. So yeah, I mean, on days when I procrastinate, I don't feel good about myself. So no doubt you probably don't feel very, very good about yourself when you procrastinate either. So get yourself to feel better about yourself. Take action, and you will find that love in your life, because you'll attract it to you by the fact that you now love and respect yourself. Because you've got to question it, right? If all of your relationships have ended in failure, you got to realize that in some way you attracted that into your life, right? Even though, that person may have been mostly to blame for what happened, you still attracted them. You still went out and pursued them. You still went out and stayed with them in that relationship. You may have got dumped, but you still participated in that relationship. It takes two to tango in a relationship. So you got to take responsibility for your part in it. Okay, even if it was 90% their fault, you still got to take responsibility for that 10%. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to get in touch with me personally, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye.